Right now, AI is flooding every single content platform with thousands of posts per day, and most creators have no idea what's coming. Everyone thinks that to win, they just need to create more content than the next person. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is that when anyone can create anything at zero cost, your entire business model collapses. After helping creators hit six-figure months in personal profit and spending all of my time at the intersection of creator business models and AI, I came to the following conclusion. There are three distinct advantages that will separate creator businesses that survive from those that don't. And these are advantages that AI fundamentally cannot replicate. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what those are and a 5-step playbook for turning them into your last remaining moat in this AI-dominated market. First, let me walk you through what's happening right now across every major content platform, because this is happening faster than most people realize. Let's start with text-based content, which is already completely saturated. If you search for almost any topic on Google right now, the first page is dominated by AI-generated content farms. And these aren't small operations either. I'm talking about companies that are publishing thousands of articles per day, all generated by AI and optimized for SEO. They're not trying to be the best content, they're just trying to be good enough to rank. And it's working. And it's not just Google search, but all text-based platforms, X, LinkedIn, Reddit, Medium, newsletters. If you're trying to build an audience through written content alone, you're not just competing against humans anymore. You're competing against AI factories that never sleep and can publish at infinite scale. Short-form video is next, and it's falling faster than anyone expected. Tools from Google's VO3 can pump out unlimited 30-second clips, indistinguishable from reality, at essentially zero cost. I'm seeing entire TikTok accounts of purely AI-generated content breaking the internet, racking millions of views, and most people have no idea that they're watching a bot. Or if they do, they don't care. And AI is involved at every step of the process, finding winning ideas, generating the script, creating the visuals, adding the voiceover, posting. All of it. There are entire networks of these accounts publishing insane amounts of volume every day. How do you compete with that? As for long-form video, this is where it gets really interesting because most people think long-form is safe. They think, well, AI avatars look fake, they regurgitate basic information, they can't have original thoughts, it's all AI slop. But I'm seeing creators post long-form videos on YouTube where they're swapping themselves out with AI, and nobody's clocking it. This has been happening on short form for months. And AI avatars have gotten good enough to prompt some creators to post entire videos on their main YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And it's working. The key is they're hiding it under motion graphics, B-roll, and fast-paced editing. Some of these purely AI videos are outperforming the organic human ones. It's insane. And AI can record nonstop every single day, without getting tired, without having bad days, without running out of ideas. It feels like live streaming may be the last frontier where humans still have an advantage. Stuff like real-time interaction, responding to chat, the social proof of actually being present. These things still expose AI's limitations, and we're already seeing the major social media platforms adapting to this shift. If you're watching this on YouTube's mobile app and begin scrolling through shorts, you'll find a couple of creators live streaming right now, and a lot of them are really small channels, so that's an untapped opportunity, but that's for another video. But soon enough, we'll have AI avatars that can respond naturally to chat in real time as well. The technology is already there. It's just a matter of time of putting the pieces together and making the latency as slow as possible. And in AI, things accelerate really fast. So here's what this means for you as a creator or a business owner. When the cost of creation approaches zero, when anyone can make anything, audiences will default to the only signals they can still trust. Production quality becomes irrelevant when everything looks professional. Consistency becomes meaningless when bots never sleep. The only thing that matters is what AI fundamentally cannot replace. And here's the brutal truth that most creators don't want to face. They're building their entire business model on quicksand. They think their personality will save them, how they articulate things, their consistency, but AI can replicate all of that. Your personality is just a bucket of observable on-camera behaviors that can be cloned. Your ability to articulate things is just a copyable transcript. And your consistency will get steamrolled by an army of AI bots. The only competitive advantage left is what only you can do. And that's what we're going to talk about next. So if everything can be replicated, what can't be? Well, after studying thousands of creator businesses and going deep on the technical foundations that underpin all of the modern AI models, I've identified exactly 3 things that AI fundamentally cannot steal or replicate. I call this the Final Moat. And every successful creator or business in the next couple of years will have all 3 pieces. The first piece is proprietary data. This is information that only you have access to. It's not public, and it's not something AI can scrape off the internet. I'm talking about private customer questions, recorded coaching calls, community discussions, internal company metrics, personal experiments you've run. The reason this matters is that AI models are only as good as the data they've been trained on or the context that they're given. This is why we're seeing social media platforms beginning to close off entirely. Previously, you could grab a YouTube transcript pretty easily from any site ranking on Google. Now it's becoming much harder, and it's only going to get worse. And the reason is because proprietary data is valuable. If your insights come from data that AI has never seen, then AI cannot replicate your insights. This makes it such that going out into the real world and collecting first-party data will become increasingly valuable over time. For example, if you're a fitness coach and you have recordings of hundreds of client sessions where people talk about their actual struggles, their real roadblocks, their honest feedback, that's proprietary data. AI cannot access those conversations. It can't understand the nuance of what your specific clients are dealing with. But you can, and that gives you a massive advantage. The second piece is original explanations. This is where you take that proprietary data and synthesize it into frameworks that only you could create. If the first piece is about collecting dots, the second piece is about connecting those dots in ways that require your specific experiences and judgment. Because AI can regurgitate existing frameworks and even create new ones, but it cannot map cause and effect in a way that only you can. Think about it this way. AI can tell you the biological underpinnings that make exercise help with depression because that's been widely documented. But only you can discern the exact analogy, metaphor, or consequence your specific client needs to hear in order for that to stick. That synthesis, that judgment, that's what creates your unique explanations. I would bucket the term taste into this category. Whether it's design taste, product taste, storytelling taste, it's all the same thing. You've lived the entirety of your lifetime collecting data points and creating your own synthesis about how the world works. And all of those unique experiences come out when you make decisions. Whether it's a color palette, a type of fabric, how the user experience looks, the general plot of a story, metaphors and examples. All of those things are data and explanations that only you have access to. And AI can model around what's happened before, but what's happened before isn't always indicative of what's going to happen in the future. There are always new things to be found. New ways of explaining things better. That's the area that we still get to play in, at least for now. The third piece is public verifiability. Here's where most creators get this wrong. With so much AI-generated content flooding every platform, people are losing their ability to tell what's real from what's fake. You can have the best data and the most brilliant explanations, but if people don't believe you're telling the truth, none of it matters. This is where public verifiability comes in. It's essentially proof of work for the creator economy. You need to be able to show your work in a way that cannot be faked. I'm talking proof of actual results, client testimonials with real names and faces, third-party audits, live dashboards that update in real time. The key is that the evidence needs to be independently verifiable. Anyone should be able to check your claims. Think about it like this. AI can generate fake testimonials, but it can't fake a verified LinkedIn profile of a real person who vouches for your work. AI can create fake revenue screenshots, but it cannot fake a third-party audit from a legitimate accounting firm. AI can write fake case studies, but it cannot fake a public company mentioning your work on their earnings call. This is why transparency is becoming the ultimate competitive advantage. The more you can show your work, the more you can verify your claims, the more people will trust you over AI-generated content. So to wrap this up, here's the formula. Moat equals data times explanations times verifiability. You need all three pieces working together. Data without explanations is just noise. Explanations without data are just opinions. And both of those without verifiability are just claims that people have no reason to believe. But when you have all three, you become essentially impossible to replace. AI can't access your data. AI cannot replicate your synthesis. And AI cannot fake independently verifiable proof, at least for now. This is the only sustainable competitive advantage in an AI-first world. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great in theory, but how do you actually build this? How do you actually get the data? How do you develop the explanations? How do you create the verifiability? That's exactly what I'm going to show you. But first, let me prove this works by breaking down 3 business owners who have built this exact kind of moat. First, let's look at Mr. Beast. Most people think Mr. Beast succeeded because of his crazy stunts or his production quality. But that's not the real moat. The real moat is his proprietary data. When Mr. Beast was on the come up, he was obsessively collecting data that no one else had access to. He was analyzing his own performance metrics, testing different thumbnail styles, tracking which content formats worked, and studying his audience retention patterns. But here's the key part. He didn't just collect the data for himself. He trained his internal team by literally having them follow him around 24/7, absorbing his brain through osmosis. He's referred to this as creating clones of himself. That's his proprietary data advantage. His original explanations came from synthesizing all of that data into internal frameworks and systems that he handed off to his team. These weren't generic YouTube tips that you could find anywhere. These were specific frameworks built from analyzing his own metrics and teaching his team to think like him. And the public verifiability was built into the nature of YouTube. Views are publicly verifiable. Every time he had a video take off, everyone could see the results. And the more wins he got, the better talent he attracted, which gave him access to more data, better explanations, more proof. It compounded and made it easier to win. Now you see him productizing his brain into view stats, where everyone will have a Mr. Beast clone guiding them on their YouTube strategy. The second example is Alex Hormozi. Alex's proprietary data comes from actually running multiple companies and then the portfolio of businesses through acquisition.com. It's likely he has thousands of hours of recorded calls, detailed financial data from companies he's worked with, and insights into every business metric imaginable from actually growing companies. This is data from real companies with real P&Ls. His original explanations are frameworks like the value equation from his $100 million offers book. But here's what most people don't know. That book was originally an internal SOP, or standard operating procedure, that he created for his previous companies. All he had to do was reformat it for public consumption. He took the best frameworks he developed internally, the ones that actually worked in real businesses, and repackaged them for a broader audience. And his public verifiability is his track record. $250 million in portfolio revenue in 2024. $100 million of net worth by the age of 32. Publicly documented exits that you can verify. When Hormozi talks about business strategy, you believe him because you can see the results. And his team is already using AI avatars in their ads. I wouldn't be surprised if the value equation and other frameworks he's never shared publicly are being used as prompts to write those ad scripts. The third example is Ray Dalio and Bridgewater. Ray Dalio is one of the most successful investors of all time. His proprietary data is decades of macroeconomic signals, internal company performance metrics, and what he calls radical transparency call logs from thousands of meetings. This isn't public data that everyone has access to. This is internal analysis and decision-making processes that only Bridgewater has and have been developing for decades. And Dalio has some of the most bulletproof public explanations about how the economy works. His last 3 books alone are a testament to that. The experiences that he's had, the data he's collected, the way he's able to synthesize things. Nobody can outdo Dalio on being Dalio. Nobody can outdo Hormozi on being Hormozi. Nobody can outdo Mr. Beast on being Mr. Beast. And nobody can outdo you, well, at being you. Now, Dalio's public verifiability is a strong track record of performance in the market for 40 years, and those markets are publicly verifiable. Now, here's the pattern across all 3. Proprietary data leads to original frameworks, leads to verifiable results, leads to compounding trust. The key insight is that each piece reinforces the others. The data makes the explanations more valuable. The explanations make the results more believable, and the results make people want access to the data. It's like a flywheel that gets stronger over time. And here's why this matters for you. You don't need to be Mr. Beast or Alex Hormozi or Ray Dalio to build this kind of moat. You just need to start collecting your own data, developing your own explanations, and proving it works. The specific tactics for how to do this are what I'm going to show you next. All right, let's get into the tactical playbook for building your moat. I call this the Final Moat playbook, and it's designed to create a flywheel where each piece reinforces the others. The key is understanding that building a moat isn't just about collecting data or creating content. It's about creating a system where your proprietary insights compound over time. Here are the 5 steps. Step 1, launch your cash engine. Before you can build a moat, you need cash flow to fund the operation. The fastest way to do this is to launch a scaled consulting offer. This will be the mechanism that funds your tooling, your team, if you need one, and your content creation. But the important thing to understand is that it's not just about the money. This becomes your data collection engine. Every call, every question, every breakthrough, every struggle becomes proprietary data that only you have access to. This way, you literally get paid to collect the insights that will become your competitive advantage. You want to be recording every session, taking detailed notes, and tracking what people are actually struggling with versus what they say they're struggling with. This is how you start building the first piece of your moat. Step 2 is pattern recognition. Now you need to systematically analyze all the data to identify patterns. Go through all your recordings and tag every question, every problem, and every breakthrough moment. AI is really great for this. You want to be looking for high frequency, high pain questions that your audience is dealing with. This is where you start identifying the patterns that become your original explanations and content. For example, if you're a business coach and 70% of your clients are asking about the same pricing problem, that's a pattern worth exploring. If you're a fitness coach and everyone's struggling with motivation on the weekends, that's data that you can build frameworks around. The patterns you document eliminates the guesswork about what content to create. Instead of randomly making videos about topics that you think are important, or just rehashing viral outliers that you think are performing for your competitors, you're making content based off actual data from real clients that are paying you a lot to solve their problems. You want a dedicated database where you're tracking these patterns over time. What are the most common questions? What are the biggest pain points? What are the solutions that actually work versus what people think will work? Step 3 is to begin building your content loop. This is where you turn your private insights into public-facing content. This is where you create public YouTube videos that explain the what and the why behind each pattern that you discover. This is your top-of-funnel content and introduces people to your idea. But here's where it gets interesting. You can also create paid workshops or courses that dive deeper into the step-by-step tactics. So your YouTube video might explain why most people fail at pricing their services, demonstrating that you actually understand the problem and solution space, whereas your paid workshop shows them exactly how to price their services using your specific frameworks. The public content builds trust and authority. The private content compresses the speed to outcome and generates revenue. This creates a natural funnel from free to paid. The key is that your content is based on real data from real clients that are paying you a lot of money, not just your opinion or what's getting views for everybody else. People can tell a difference, and they'll pay premium prices for insights that actually work. Step 4 is build micro agents. This is where things get really interesting and where most creators get left behind. You take your content, your framework, your step-by-step process, and you turn it into specialized AI tools. For example, if you teach SEO, you might build a tool that generates 30-day SEO content calendars using your specific methodology. If you teach sales, you might build a tool that writes personalized outreach sequences based on your framework. The key is that this tool is trained on your specific approach, your unique data, and your proprietary insights. It's not generic AI you can pull off the shelf. It's your expertise packaged as software. You can do this by curating a high-quality dataset to train models with, creating hyper-detailed prompts that encode your methodology, and wrapping it all up in a nicely designed web app. And you don't need any technical experience. You can literally take the transcript of this video along with the thousands of other AI coding tutorials that are on YouTube, drop it into an AI chat, and just type the words, "Tell me how to do this step by step." Technical knowledge will not be your limiting factor, but your ability to replicate results and articulate exactly how you do what you do, or in other words, your explanations, will be. Now, packaging your expertise as software does two things. First is it provides immediate value to your audience. And second, it creates a scalable revenue stream that doesn't require your time. Once your software income exceeds your scaled consulting income, you can choose to go all in on the software. But I'd recommend continuing consulting at a price point that's worth it for you, because that real-world data will help you maintain your moat. Step 5 is to chain and expand. Every month you can add the most requested microtask as a new tool. The frontier of what AI is capable of is accelerating so fast that tasks that you couldn't do when you first tried it become trivial just a few weeks later. You want to stay ahead of this curve by constantly chaining new capabilities together. The goal is to build a suite of AI tools or agents that all work together to solve your audience's problems. Each tool is trained on your methodology, your data, your approach. Over time, you become the go-to source for AI-powered solutions in your niche. And here's the flywheel. Questions from your audience leads to patterns in your data, which leads to content that drives more audience, which leads to more questions, which leads to better patterns, which leads to more sophisticated tools. This whole system gets stronger over time. And here's why it works so well in an AI-first world. You're not competing on content quality anymore, because AI can match that. And you're not competing on consistency, because AI never gets tired. You're competing on data access, on synthesis quality, and on verifiable results. The Final Moat Playbook is specifically designed to give you an advantage in all three areas. Your group coaching gives you proprietary data, the answers you provide and the pattern recognition gives you original explanations, your public-facing content and client results give you verifiable proof, and your AI tools give you scalable leverage that compounds over time. Now, I know this might sound complex to set up and manage manually, but the truth is I've been building software to automate most of this process for you. It handles group management, helps you identify patterns for content, lets you monetize that content, and will eventually serve as the basis for building your AI tools. There's really nothing else like it on the internet. If you want to get early access, you can join the waitlist at onefactor.ai. But even if you don't use my software, the frameworks are what actually matters. The hard part isn't the tech, it's the discipline to execute consistently. But if you do execute, if you build this flywheel, you'll have a sustainable competitive advantage that gets stronger as AI gets better and social media gets more crowded. To close out, I want to share a few things that I think most creators misunderstand about timing. We're still in the early adoption phase of AI tools, but that window is closing fast. If you look at any technology adoption cycle, there's always a period where the tools exist, but most people haven't figured out how to use them effectively. We're in that phase right now with AI. Right now, most creators are using AI like a better Google search or a writing assistant. And a lot of them have been disappointed by early models and have opted out completely. And that is a huge mistake, but that's changing quickly. In the next 6 to 12 months, everyone will know how to use AI to create large volumes of high-quality content. Tools like Google VO3, HeyGen, the latest foundation models released by OpenAI and Anthropic, the open source models you can run locally on your phone without any internet, all of these things are making it easier to produce content at scale. And at the same time, tools like Replit, Cursor, and Lovable are making it possible for non-technical people to build functional web and mobile apps in a weekend. Everyone will know how to use AI to automate their core business processes. And what this means is that the current advantage of being an early adopter in AI is temporary. Within a year, using AI effectively will become table stakes, not a competitive advantage. The real competitive advantage will come from having something AI cannot replicate: your proprietary data, your unique explanations, and your verifiable track record. But here's the catch: building those advantages takes time. You can't just decide to have proprietary data. You have to systematically collect it over months and years. You can't just decide to have unique explanations. You have to develop them through experience and pattern recognition. You can't just decide to have a verifiable track record. You have to build it through consistent execution and documented results. The creators who start building these advantages will be the ones who survive when AI becomes commoditized. The creators who wait will find themselves competing directly with AI with no differentiation. And it's only going to get harder over time. Every day that passes, more people figure out how to use AI effectively. Every day that passes, the AI tools get better and more accessible. Every day that passes, that bar for what's considered good enough gets higher. If you're not building systematic advantages today, you're going to be playing catch up in a market that's moving faster than you can adapt. So start building. And if you want to stay at the cutting edge of it all, I'm launching a private free community for established creators and business owners that want to stay ahead. You can apply to join the waitlist below. All right, that's it for this one. Until next time. Peace.